Dayna in Canada a couple weeks ago. I didn't actually meet you face to face, but I met you. I felt like I met you. So she was on stage speaking, and it didn't take me long to realize I had some things in common with Dayna. That I have a child who has struggled with anxiety, and I would say probably sensory disorders, even though I never really thought of it like that until I looked at your page. I was like, oh yeah, I can relate there. And we've had some challenges. And so while I always wanted to homeschool my kids, like from the time I was pregnant. Now, Dayna was a classroom teacher, but I always wanted to homeschool my kids, and I did. And it was going pretty smooth with kid number 1, and with kid number 2, I was met with more challenges. And so I actually had an almost opposite experience of you, where I had to stop homeschooling, put my daughter in school when it was a small private school. There were like 7 girls, 7 boys, and it crushed me. And here's the moment I related to you on stage. You said something to the effect of, I felt like a failure. I'm a classroom teacher, which Dayna's a classroom teacher, and I couldn't even teach my own child. Now, I have a degree in physical education, and I can tell you in that moment, I felt like a failure. And it wasn't one moment, it was many moments. And I thought, I can't even teach my own child. I have to put her in school when it's all I ever wanted to do. And in conjunction with that, we started therapy. Now, before we move forward, I forgot to give you a proper introduction. So Dayna is the best-selling author of the Super Kids Activity Guide to Conquering Every Day. I'm sorry I had to look at my notes, but that's a long title.
It is a really long title.
Yeah. The Super Kids Activity.
We just call it the Super Kids Guide nowadays.
That is great. That's much easier to remember. So she's also the creator of the Calm the Chaos framework. And this is where, like, I can't even believe I'm interviewing you. She has over 500,000 followers on her popular blog, Lemon Lime Adventures. And I can tell you, she packs a punch. I looked at it and I am incredibly impressed. So she has what parents need. She has what we need. And I'm beside myself to have you on here. So tell me, you were a classroom teacher for how long?
So I was in the classroom. The numbers get confusing at this point because, like you said, I ended up homeschooling my kiddo, but it was around 15 years. I was in the classroom. I was national board certified teacher for early childhood. I actually had won an award. I actually didn't tell people this for a very long time. I won an award for best early childhood teacher in Chicago. And Chicago's not a small city. And I'm looking at the reward right now. I didn't tell anyone because at that same time.
Best early childhood teacher in Chicago?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I didn't tell anyone. And I didn't tell anyone because at the exact same time, my son was in kindergarten and I was getting calls every single day from school that I need to pick my son up and that he was struggling. And to be blatantly honest with you, today, right before I got on this call, my son came home and I got an email from his teacher that he had a rough day today and that he was doing things that weren't appropriate. And they're not. He has a really hard time with his self-control and impulse control, and add that with puberty and you give him a computer and well, you can fill in the blanks. So life is not perfect today, but life is a whole heck of a lot better. And the big difference is that I don't hate myself and feel like I'm broken, and I don't feel like my kid is broken. I instead know that I've got my work cut out for me, and I know that he's got his work cut out for him to be able to fit into a world that doesn't understand him. But I know that we can do that now. So yeah, that was my teaching experience.
Well, can I share this with you?
Yeah.
So And because what I want our audiences both to understand is sometimes it doesn't matter whether your kid's in school or homeschooled. You're going to have challenges. And the writing was on the wall for me by the time my child was 3. And I didn't understand what we were experiencing at the time. I wish I would have sought help sooner. And so while I homeschooled her for the first few years, and let me say this, my oldest kid has always homeschooled, and she actually started college at 14. I don't see that with my youngest. But that's okay. I just want her to progress and to grow up and be a happy, successful in the, like, she can function in society and be a happy individual. That's what I want for her. And so whether your kids are in school or homeschooled, I think this is really important, that to understand that sometimes you're going to have the challenges either way. And just last week, after we all got back from Canada, we had the roughest day we've probably had in 5 years. Like, it breaks my heart. Dang. Whew. I'll get choked up, but it was tough. It was really tough. And it leaves me going, oh, I feel like a failure, right? I feel like a failure. But I know, God, Dayna, I know that we're going to face these challenges either way. And quite frankly, my daughter is middle school age. Hormones are not helping these issues. And I think it would be worse in school than it is here. So, you do the best you can as a parent. And I really, I was a teacher, and I have respect for teachers, and I genuinely believe they do the best they can in the situation they're in. And I taught some early childhood for a while too. So, I want people to understand that we're not blaming teachers, and we're not blaming you as parents. Sometimes we just have challenges, and we have to overcome it.
Absolutely. I mean, that is like one of the number one things is I want people to know that they are not a failure and their kid's not broken, and that there isn't a blame for someone else. Like when I was in the classroom, the blame was always, well, because I taught on the west side of Chicago. So it was like, well, their parents don't take care of them, or, well, that kid's mom, like, her history, and the blame was always on the parents. And then when I became a parent, the blame was always on the teachers in the school. And just like you said, and I see this all the time on my Facebook page because I have lots of comments. And it just happened just yesterday where there was a thread where I was sharing where this mom was talking about her kid getting suspended. And people very quickly are like, how dare the school, how dare the school, how dare the school. And then the teachers are like, wait a second, like, we're teachers. We shouldn't get beat up every day. And I'm like, you shouldn't. You're right. But everyone in that situation, when you're so hurt, it's so easy to blame someone else. And it's so easy to focus on the negative. And it's so easy to focus because that's the pain and that's your brain trying to protect you. And so I think it's really important to say, in spite of whatever might be going on at home, in spite of whatever the situation is at school, then how are we going to make this the best situation? Because the truth of the matter is, like, my son goes to a school where they use strategies that I do not agree with and we don't promote here. Secret charts and token rewards. Like, we don't do that. Like, that's not really what our program's about, and what the research that we've done and melded together for our program. It's not what it's about. But I know that that's what they have. That's what they know to be able to support the kids they have in their class. So I have to support them. And I have to teach my kid how to advocate for what he needs and wants in a way they'll listen, even if they're using a system that doesn't work with his personality. Yes. So I think you're so right about that blame thing. It's so easy to blame the other. And it's, and when you can get rid of that, like, you're already 10 steps ahead.
Yes, I agree. And I want to share this too. So and I don't know if I ever said again, so my daughter went to private school for a year and a half, and then there was a point where we needed to homeschool her again. It was great the first year, the second year wasn't as great. The classroom size increased exponentially though, like 5 or 6 kids, which is a lot. And they were high energy kids. They're good kids, but they're really high energy. Yeah, there were all sorts of things going on. Anyway, and the school's a good school. I'm not even saying it's not. It is. But okay, I lost my train of thought here for a moment. Oh, but when we did therapy, and I've watched your video where you spent thousands of dollars, like over $10,000 on therapy, and we weren't there, but we've spent a pretty penny too. And I can tell you, so we did cognitive therapy. It changed our world, and this isn't to say my kid doesn't have her challenges. She does, but here's what changed a lot. Me. My husband and I did everything they told us to do, and it was how I dealt with her and I'm not saying I'm perfect. I am not. I have my flaws, and I have a lot of them that I don't want to hang out for the world to see. But I think we're going to be learning some similar things from you. And I can tell you, I wish I would have had what you offer all those years ago. And I am genuinely considering signing up for your course, even though a few months ago I was sort of feeling like we're doing good. Well, it's been a little rough lately, and I need some help. And I'm a parent too. I do this whole homeschool think tank thing, but at the end of the day, I'm a mom, and I have challenges too, and I'm not exempt from them in any way, shape, or form. And quite frankly, homeschool think tank very much comes from my struggles in a way that calmed the chaos, and all these things came from yours.
Absolutely. Yeah, this wouldn't exist if it wasn't for what we went through at all. And I hear you telling your story, and I can feel the pain in your heart, and I can feel how much love you have for your daughter, and you just want her to be successful in the way that she deserves to be. Meaning, that may not be straight A's, that may not be going to college, whatever it is for her, but you want her to feel good in her skin. And I can tell that she currently doesn't feel good in her skin. And then you're seeing other things that are happening around because of that. And what you mentioned about the you part, that's so important. And our framework is actually 4 simple elements. It's simple. It's not always easy to implement, but that's why you fall into these ruts. Like you said, like just a little while ago, you felt like you had it, and then something else crept up. But what we found is these 4 elements, when you can have these 4 going, and they don't even have to be perfect. I mean, you can get them like 70% right. You can get them 50% right. And they will make a world of difference if you have these 4 elements going at all times. And we cover those in the framework or in the workshop, but are you okay if I share them here?
Yes. Can I pause and look at my comments, make sure everybody's seeing, because I'm seeing it scroll, and I want to make sure everybody's having success. Oh, that's so sweet. Okay, it looks like we froze at one point. Can you guys tell me, are we doing okay again? I hope. We're just going to keep going. I think that's all we can do. All right, so go ahead and share.
All right, so you mentioned the you part.
Recap a little bit.
Yeah, so we were just talking about how there's 4 elements to create a thriving relationship and create help our kids become independent, successful, happy, and empowered, right? And so you mentioned that when you went through some therapy before with your daughter, that the thing that you got most out of it was some work for yourself. And that when you changed, things changed with her. And that's a piece that's missing in a lot of parenting programs out there and a lot of education for parents. Or it just solely focuses on the parent. So we find the balance can be off.
It's a family.
Yeah.
It's a family, right?
So our framework involves you really getting clear on the thoughts that are going through your head that could be affecting your success, affecting how you see your kids' behavior, all those sorts of things. And being able to remain calm and find an anchor to fall back on when days are really bad. And then the next step in our framework is connection. And this is something you can find in, any really good positive parenting or peaceful parenting program out there. This is that connection piece, but we take it a little deeper, and we really help you connect with your kids on a deep level and help you realize who they are and appreciate them for who they are and accept them, but also so that they can appreciate you and all of the things about you for who you are, because you are different people.
Yes.
And then the third piece is understanding. And this is what you were talking about earlier about realizing, oh my goodness, there's some sensory connection here. And it doesn't necessarily mean that your child has a disorder or they're broken or anything. That understanding piece, I found, if you don't have a kid who has been completely out of the box and hasn't fit the mold and you've had to go to therapy, if you haven't had that experience, you may not know that sensory exists. You may not know about how the brain responds when stress is happening. You may not know about, the causes of behavior because of the different things, you might not have been exposed to it or just to a little bit. And so that's such an important piece, though, is all of us understanding what makes each of us tick and everyone in the family. Like I know we can't go to more than 2 stores when I go out with my husband because the noises really bother him. And then the final piece is empowerment. And this is really helping the kids feel empowered and each member of the family. So it's not this like unbalanced thing, but so that the parents and the kids feel empowered so that they're both feeling like they're being heard and valued and that their voice matters. And when you combine all those together, that's when the magic happens.
And I think that last piece is so important. And especially when you're homeschooling your kids, I really feel like they need to feel empowered, even if you're going to do the work, but you can choose when to do the work, or you can choose between this and this today. And that is where we found the peace in homeschooling, is giving our daughter as much power as possible, and which can be hard. It's not always easy. So tell me a little bit more about this video you released today and about your group, because Dayna has 20,000 people.
It's growing every day. We've been getting about 1,000 people a day right now. So yeah,
that is amazing.
Last time I checked, it was like 21,000 people. It was at 14,000 last week. It's just grow. So it's really, really fun. So yeah, we just released our Calm the Chaos workshop. We have I think we're nearing about 20,000 people who have joined the workshop up to now. And it just released a couple hours ago. And it's a 4-part series where we're going to walk you through that framework I just talked about. The first one is all about how to remain calm in the moment and how to see behavior differently so that you can respond to it differently and you can help your kid when they're having a meltdown in the moment. And we go over my story, we go over our background, and we share some case studies of like real people who have put this into action in their life. And we also have a assessment in that first video. It's our Calm the Chaos Life Assessment, where you can actually download it and you can score yourself on where you fall so that you can find your next step. So it's not, even if you score all zeros, it's not about like, oh my gosh, I'm failing, I'm not doing any of these things. It's okay, I got a 0. This shows me what I have to work on and what I can do to move forward. And it helps you see, and even if you get 7s and 5s all across the board, then it doesn't feel like you've tried everything. You might find the one thing, even if you find just one thing, that could be your aha moment. And so you've got that assessment in the first one. In the second one, we go over the first step in our process, which is connection. And it's a very counterintuitive way of how to actually deal with the struggles you're dealing with. Your kid's not listening, your kid's not following instructions, your kid's battling, your kid's melting down, whatever it is. It all starts with connection. And so in video 2, we talk about that, and I share how to turn your kid's biggest struggle, so that anxiety you were talking about for your daughter, and turn that into their biggest asset, or we call them superpowers. And
I love it.
and so it's how to see their biggest struggle as their biggest asset and how to help them see that. And we teach that in the second lesson. And then in the third video, we just pull back the curtain and we basically give you everything with the keys and all. We basically just, it's like a 16-page download of the entire framework, in and out and ups and downs. We've had people who've just used the workshop alone and not joined our 90-day program and still had massive success in their family. And so that fourth video is a walkthrough of our entire program and, you know, information on how you can join the 90-day program if that's something you need.
Yes. And I want to make sure anybody that's listening to this now or later knows that a couple things here. Number one, if you go to homeschoolthinktank.com and you go to join the wait list, I will send you these videos that Dayna's sending out over the next couple weeks. So, and I sent the first one today, and it'll be in our, on the Homeschool Think Tank page or in our friends group. Ooh, that sound scary.
That's my dog. He's a really good dog.
Okay, well,
it sounds like, so my kiddo's really excited. There's a lot going on today. And so it sounds like my dog is getting really excited with my kid. So
I'm so glad.
My time here might be limited because it is something I have learned is that there are signs of things that happen. And if my dog's barking.
Yeah. Well, and I'm glad I'm not the only one that has dogs barking in the videos, because boy, do I. And we have 4 of them. Too many. Yeah. Anyway, so at homeschoolthinktank.com, you can get on the waiting list, and there's a whole blurb about you, Dayna, there, and a whole other page just about you where I'm going to be uploading all the videos. And then get in her group. It's awesome. It's good parenting stuff. And whether you, as a parent, whether you just do the, hi, kiddo.
Hi, buddy. We're on a live. I need you to sit for a minute, and then I'll chat with you afterwards.
And I want to play Minecraft.
I know, but we can't have that discussion while I'm having this chat. So you're going to have to wait till I'm done.
I'm pretty sure I can get a Minecraft box.
Do you hear me?
Yes, I'll just fix this for you.
Do you need to go, or are we good for a couple minutes?
I might, yes.
Okay, we'll try to wrap it up here. But you're going to learn something from Dayna, from her videos. They're outstanding. They are really good. I've learned some things. And even just by being in her group, it is a group of parents who are very supportive and wonderful. And so I think just nearly any parent could benefit from what you're offering. I really do. So, and if later here in a couple weeks with your course, I might join it. And if I join it, and if any of the people that follow me join it too, we will create our own little group and support one another.
That's awesome. We go all in too. So just so you know, like I have coaches. It's not just me. It's not a course that sits on the shelf. It is a huge, we go all in to support you guys. So, but a study group is always amazing.
Yes, and I have had amazing online learning, and I can tell you, this sounds easier. I literally used to drive over an hour to the therapist we saw, and an hour back, and I'm not saying if you need therapy, you need therapy, that's fine, but if this can help you and you can do it from home, my gosh, why not? Why not? It makes life easier. So, well, I can tell you're going to need to go. So is there anything else you want to share with us? And can I give give people a moment to ask if they have even just a snippet of a question?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, let me look
Yeah, so
here.
Jackie's going to give you the link to go to, so go to that. And
Yes.
if anything that we've talked about at all has resonated, I know we kind of had to shorten this up just a little bit, but
Okay.
just head on over to calmthechaosworkshop.com and the link that Jackie gives you, and we can help you. We'll get into the group. There's a group link on the thank you page and all of that. So
Yes, and the link is right on the Homeschool Think Dayna. We're going to make this easy for you and not keep you all day long, because I know you've
Awesome.
got a kiddo and you have kids.
Yep,
Yeah.
this kiddo needs some support. I'm not really sure what's going on, but there is definitely something under the surface right now.
Well, sometimes we have to stop, and I understand that 100%. So I hope to visit with you again. I've really enjoyed it.
Yes, thank you